Hello and welcome to the Aunty Lisa show. What shall we do a story about today? Let's see. Okay. A silver one. All of us. And, ooh, folded. Hang on. A lion. And nothing else. Huh. Right. Okay. In the red bag, we have Hatty and Pteranodon. Clear. In this white bag of places, the deserts. Okay. And pink bag of random things. A magic potion. Oh dear. Right, and here we have a forklift truck. Right, or a forklift. Yeah, anyway. Right. One day, Aunty Lisa, Aleksander and Kristoffer were invited on an archaeological dig in the desert with their good friend Hatty, who works at the Natural History Museum with Andy, but doesn't time travel. She does proper archaeology. So they packed a bag, obviously, each with all sorts of archaeological digging equipment, like those teeny tiny little spades and those little hammers, and also those little brushes that you need when you do an archaeological dig. And they also packed some snacks and lots of changes of clothes, because it gets hot in the desert, and so you want to be able to change clothes. And they hopped on a plane with Hatty. She, as it turns out, is also a pilot. Who knew? Woman of many talents is Hatty. And they flew to the desert, which was in northern Africa. Well, they landed in the desert just next to where the archaeological dig was going on. And there was loads of excitement and commotion because everybody was super excited about the bones that they had been digging up. And they had been digging up something from prehistoric times called a Pteranodon. That's right. And Aleksander and Kristoffer were going to help them out. So they'd already exposed a bit of Pteranodon wing. His little arm, you know. You can't see what I'm doing. That. And they needed to expose the Pteranodon head. So Aleksander and Kristoffer worked super carefully for a whole day, digging away until eventually the skull of the Pteranodon was able to be seen, and everyone was like, whoa, that is so super cool, you guys. We love this Pteranodon skeleton. Amazing. Well, everyone was congratulating themselves on a super day's digging when they decided to go and survey a bit more of the local area with the special surveying thing that detects skeletons under the ground. I've seen it on Time Team. All right, and it scans the ground, beep, 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 and you can see what's under the ground. And they spotted another skeleton. Wow, this one was from much more recent history, actually. but still a blinking long time ago. And it looked like some kind of predator. Ooh, it had big teeth, whatever it was. So they said, right, you guys, next day, we're going to dig up the next skeleton. So they set about digging and digging and digging. And they dug really deep down. And then they dusted away. Do you know what kind of skeleton it was? It was a lion skeleton. But like one of the earliest lions. And it was a massive lion. Massive, crazy long teeth. A bit like a saber-toothed tiger, but a lion. Didn't even know they existed, did you? Well, they did. So, they had discovered a whole new prehistoric species of lion. Everyone had the biggest archaeological dig party that night. And you would think that that could be the end of the story. But it is not. Because once they got both the skeletons out, they said, hey, we should take these skeletons back to the Natural History Museum. But just before they could do that, they said, you know what? We're in the desert. We should go and explore some of the local culture and have a look at, well, we're in Northern Africa, so let's go to Egypt and see the pyramids, which are like these tall buildings that look like that. You may have seen them on the telly. And they had loads of cool pharaohs and things that died and they buried them inside. So they decided to book a day trip to the pyramids, which was super exciting because Hatty loves the pyramids. And she was like, oh my God, this is amazing. We're going to go inside a pyramid. What? So they went inside the pyramid with their super cool guide whose name was Mohammed. I think that's probably a sensible name for that area of the world. And he said, just be careful, okay? Don't touch anything. You've got special permission to come in here, but you mustn't touch anything. So Aleksander and Kristoffer and Aunty Lisa and Hatty all went inside the pyramid, and they had to carry with them super bright torches so they could see where they were going, because no one put electricity inside a pyramid, really old. And they saw all the cool writing on the walls, on the Egyptian writing, and the pictures of the people like this, and pictures of cats. It was very cool. And they went deeper and deeper and deeper into the pyramid. And in the pyramid there was a tomb where a pharaoh had been buried 2,000 years ago. And it was in a sarcophagus, which is like a coffin, but it has the shape of a person and a face on it. Like picture of the face, not actual face. That'd be gross. And they were like, wow. But then Aunty Lisa sneezed. And in her defense, it was very dusty. She sneezed, and as she sneezed, her head had flung back and knocked something that was on a shelf on the wall. And it was a bottle. And it went... And Hatty went, no! But it was too late. The bottle landed on the floor and exploded into smithereens. And the contents of that bottle went into the air. And Mohammed, the guide, went, oh no, this is terrible. We've got to leave right away. That was the magic potion of Tutankhamun. Who knows what terrible effects it will have? And he ran. And everyone followed, because when your guide is running away, you run away too. And he ran and ran and ran and ran and ran and ran and ran straight out of that pyramid. And they shut the door behind them because that's a very sensible thing to do when you've just broken something. And Mohammed said, I have to let the elders know. I have to let the people know who own the pyramids now. Oh, we're going to be in so much trouble. I wonder what that potion will do. Well, wasn't that long before they found out. Everyone went to bed that night in their camp next to the Archeological Dig. Aleksander and Kristoffer and Aunty Lisa shared a tent. And in the night, something crazy happened. Aunty Lisa woke up. She looked around. And instead of 2 gorgeous nephews, what was there? It was a Pteranodon and a lion! A Pteranodon and a lion. And Aunty Lisa went, have you eaten Aleksander and Kristoffer? Ah! And then she realised, wait a minute. These Pteranodons don't normally shake their heads like this. And lions don't normally shake their heads like this. And she thought, oh no. The magic potion had done something super crazy, all right. The magic potion had taken the spirits of the Pteranodon skeleton they dug up and the lion skeleton they dug up and zapped them into Aleksander and Kristoffer and turned them into Pteranodon and a lion. Oh dear. Kristoffer was now in the body of a prehistoric Pteranodon, and Aleksander was in the body of an amazing prehistoric lion with super long teeth. And Aunty Lisa was a little bit terrified. She did that for a little while. And she said, Aleksander. And the lion went, and she said, Kristoffer. And the Pteranodon went, caw, caw. And she went, oh dear. Am I still in me? I'm still in my body. Would have quite liked to have been a Pteranodon, though. Still, never mind. This is good. I can still talk to people. Okay, we need help. We need help. Well, first thing they needed help doing was getting out of that tent, because the tent was actually quite small. And a Pteranodon and a giant prehistoric lion did not fit very well. And they were like this. And Aunty Lisa said, do you think you can get out of the tent? And the Pteranodon went, caw! And the tent got shattered to teeny tiny, ripped up pieces, because Pteranodon wings are big. And Kristoffer, the Pteranodon, took off into the air like, caw, caw, caw. Turns out Pteranodons sound quite a lot like eagles. Well, Aleksander took his moment to shine too, and he leapt out of the wreckage that was the tent, and he did the most enormous roar you've ever heard in your entire living life. He went, roar! And then he ran and jumped and did crazy stuff, and everybody woke up. Everybody on the Archeological Dig woke up, came out of their tents. Hatty jumped out of her tent and she went, what is going on, you guys? What happened? And Aunty Lisa went, stop. But before she knew it, people were trying to shoot down the Pteranodon, because you don't want a Pteranodon flying around. So the guys on the dig were like, getting ready to shoot that Pteranodon. And somebody else went, oh, we've got to shoot that saber-toothed lion. We've got to get rid of it. Nobody could be safe when there's a saber-toothed lion on the loose. Where on earth has it come from? He's going to try and eat us. And they were just about to try and shoot them when Aunty Lisa went, no! Stop right there! It's Aleksander and Kristoffer. There was a magic potion. It's a long story. They've turned into a Pteranodon and a lion. And everyone went, what? So, yes, we went on a trip into the pyramid. I sneezed. I knocked down a bottle all over the floor. Aleksander and Kristoffer must have breathed in the magic potion. And now, look, they've taken on the spirit of the skeletons we uncovered yesterday. And everyone went, oh dear. That's bad, Lisa. What are you going to say to Mummy and Papa? I mean, oh dear. Aunty Lisa said, yes, this is a big oh dear. How long do you think it's going to last? So, she said, I know what I've got to do. I've got to get in touch with Mohammed, our guide into the pyramid. Meanwhile, Kristoffer's doing loop-de-loops. He started to quite enjoy being a Pteranodon. And Aleksander is out there chasing all the other animals. And all the other animals in the desert, to be fair, there weren't that many. There were some camels. He really annoyed them. And there was some gerbils. They come from the desert. And all sorts of other things. He was having a good time. But Aunty Lisa knew that this good time was not going to last very long. Because eventually they were going to want to go home and go back to school in Barnahaga. And no way were they going to be allowed in if they looked like a Pteranodon and a prehistoric lion. This was bad news. So she went to see Mohammed, the guy who was her guide. She knocked on his door. And Mohammed went, oh, Aunty Lisa, it's really early in the morning. Why did people told me you always wake people up early in the morning. Why do you do that, Aunty Lisa? Oh, why do I still call you Aunty Lisa? You're not my auntie. Oh, God. What's up? What? How can I help you? What? And Aunty Lisa said, something terrible's happened. Remember that potion? Mohammed went, oh, yes, that potion. Oh, no. I don't want to get involved in that. And Aunty Lisa said, but you are involved. I need your help. Kristoffer's a Pteranodon and Aleksander's a lion. And Mohammed went, well, I didn't think I was going to do that. What? A Pteranodon and a lion? Oh, okay. Right. The only thing I think we can do is we need the antidote. But the antidote is hidden in another pyramid. We haven't ever been inside it. We've just read in scrolls that there's an antidote to that potion inside. You are gonna have to go and get it out. And Aunty Lisa said, me? On my own? Will you help me, please? And he said, oh, fine. Fine, Aunty Lisa, I will help you. But no more sneezing, because you smashed that thing and that was bad news and I'm in trouble with my boss now. And obviously Aleksander's a lion and Kristoffer's a Pteranodon. So none of this is good. And Aunty Lisa said, I know, this is really bad. We're going to have to get inside that other pyramid. We're going to do it today. So she called up Hatty and Hatty rushed down there to the new pyramid while Aleksander and Kristoffer were just flying around. By now, Kristoffer had discovered that he could pick up Aleksander and put him on his back. And he was like, caw, caw. And Aleksander was riding on the back of the Pteranodon like, rah, rah, rah. And they were just flying around, scaring people for laughs. Everyone in the local area, all the camels were terrified. Terrified. All the camels had just legged it. They'd run away. Everyone was really cross with Aleksander and Kristoffer, and they were starting to suggest sleepy darts. And Aunty Lisa was not happy about that, because she didn't want Aleksander and Kristoffer to get zapped by a sleepy dart while they're in mid-air. They might have to fall down and get... She asked the rest of the archaeologists to keep an eye on them, but they were just all kinds of crazy. So her and Hatty and Mohammed were on a mission. They had to get inside the not new pyramid, ancient pyramid that no one else had ever visited inside before. And to get inside there, they needed a forklift. So they hired a forklift from Mohammed's good friend, who was called Mobeen. I can't think of anything else. Anyway, so he let them borrow the forklift, and they went. Aunty Lisa, as it turns out, is quite good at driving a forklift. And she was like, and the forklift went. That's how forklift sounds. And they pulled the rock out of the front of the pyramid that was blocking it. I said, okay, I've got to get in, get the potion, the antidote to the potion rather, get out, give it to Aleksander and Kristoffer ASAP. Well, Aleksander and Kristoffer had finished flying around, and they swooped down and sat outside the pyramid like, caw, caw. And Auntie was like, no, you can't fit inside the pyramid. Your bashflings with your ginormous wings and your crazy tail. You stay right here, okay, you guys. And Aleksander the lion went, rah, rah, rah. And Kristoffer the Pteranodon went, caw. And they sat down. And Auntie Lisa thought to herself, whew, it's fine. Gonna be able to get in, get the antidote, get out, fix it, done. So, Hatty and Auntie Lisa and Mohammed went inside the pyramid. And the pyramid was super crazy dark. It was all rock and brick inside. And there was loads of spider webs. And they were like, oh, get rid of the spider webs. And there were snakes. And they were like, and it got smaller and smaller inside and darker and darker and darker. And Hatty went, I'm scared, Auntie Lisa. And Auntie Lisa said, I'm scared too. And Mohammed went, me too. Let's get in and get out of here as quickly as we can. And then they stepped on a rock. And before they knew it, a ginormous rock came rolling down out of nowhere. Auntie Lisa and Mohammed and Hatty leapt out of the way just as the boulder went. And they went, oh no, it's only blinking, well, booby trapped. This is bad. Okay. We can do it. And they kept going. Auntie Lisa pushed over the door. And she stepped back because she had a funny feeling. And then it went. Loads of scary arrows flew through the air. They would have got her, but she had seen quite a lot of films with this kind of thing in, so she was okay. And then they found the centre of the pyramid, and in the centre of the pyramid there was a little platform, and on that platform there was a little bottle. And Mohammed said, that's the bottle, that's the antidote, that's what you need, but I bet you £1 million it is booby trapped. We've got to be fast. And Auntie Lisa went, okay, I know. And out of her pocket she took a chocolate bar, and she said, I think this chocolate bar probably weighs about the same as that little pot. If we move it real quick, we might be okay. And she went, ready, steady. She put the chocolate bar down in its place. Took the pot that had the antidote in. She went, ha! We've done it! And they started running out of there. Well, as they were running, all the doors were shutting. And they were like, get out, get out, get out, get out. They made it outside. Whew, just as the final door slammed shut. They went, yes, we've got the antidote. Hooray! And then she looked and went, Kristoffer! Aleksander! Oh, no. what's happened to them now? Well, I tell you what happened to them. It turned out that there were some mean hunters around. And the mean hunters thought it'd be really cool to capture a Pteranodon and a lion. And they had sneaked up on Aleksander and Kristoffer while they were waiting outside. But Aleksander and Kristoffer, being smart cookies, had outwitted them. Aunty Lisa turned around to find a whole bunch of mean hunters all tangled up in a net. And she went, my nephews, they're so smart. Those hunters tried to catch them and they caught them instead. But where are they? And she looked up. Oh, blinking Nora. There they were, flying around. And said, you two get back down here now. And they went, no. Said, okay, we'll meet you back at the camp. So, Aunty Lisa, Mohammed and Hatty all raced back to the camp by the Archeological Dig. And Aleksander and Kristoffer, Kristoffer swooped down with Aleksander on his back and landed. And Aunty Lisa said, right, you guys, this is the antidote. This is the medicine that's going to stop you being a Pteranodon and a lion forever. Now, you need to take it because otherwise we can't go back home because they won't let you on the plane. And Aleksander and Kristoffer went, meow. Meow. Aunty Lisa said, okay, what if you have 1 more hour of being a lion and a Pteranodon and then you take the medicine, okay? So that's what they did. Kristoffer gave loads of people rides on his back as a Pteranodon flying through the air. And Aleksander gave loads of people rides on his back, being a super scary lion and sneaking up on stuff and going, Rah! And everyone had the most amazing time. And then Aunty Lisa said, right, time's up. You need to take this medicine. Put a little bit in a spoon each. Yeah, in a spoon. And then she put the lid on. She gave the bottle back to Mohammed just in case something like this should happen again. He said, thank you very much. And then they all waited. And then, all of a sudden, Aleksander and Kristoffer, the Pteranodon and the lion, went... Everyone was enormously relieved to see Kristoffer was a little boy again, not a Pteranodon. Aleksander was a biggish boy again, not a lion. And they had the most enormous cuddle from Aunty Lisa because she was extremely relieved too. And said, well, you guys, thank goodness you're okay. And they said, Rah, caw. And she went, ooh, you're supposed to talk like people now. And Aleksander and Kristoffer went, only kidding. We can talk. It's okay, Aunty Lisa. And Aunty Lisa went, oh my God. Right, okay. That is enough craziness for one trip. Who thinks we should have a nice sit down and a cup of tea and some cake? And everyone said, hooray! And they had the best time. And Mohammed had his first ever Victoria sponge cake. And he said it was delicious. And then Aunty Lisa said, wait till you try the chocolate cake with Smarties on top. And he was blown away. And he said, you know what, you guys? I'm really glad I met you, even though we had to go through that horrible experience of trying to get the medicine to sort out the potion that you'd taken. Otherwise, well, I would never have got to taste the most amazing cakes in the world. And everyone went, hooray! And that is the end of the story. Love you guys. Night night.